for the rape shield to be pierced.
Does the lady further yield?
I do.
And the standard here is that the accused could have reasonably believed that the complaining witness consented. Why is that so broad?
That was up to the Judiciary Committee to decide that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you continue to yield?
I do further yield.
The chair recognizes Chairman F. Strachan to your left for a question.
Does the lady yield?
I do.
Isn't it true that in the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee we thoroughly looked at the existing rape shield statute and considered how it might need to be modified to capture the true evidence that would need to be introduced by either a defense lawyer or by a prosecutor in one of these serious cases?
That's correct.
And isn't it true that one exception of the rape shield statute would include potential elements or evidence of consent that either the defense attorney would seek to introduce or that the prosecutor would need to introduce in the case?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, I'll yield the well.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. What purpose does Representative Thomas rise?
Parliamentary procedure.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that that in the 90s there was a bill that strengthened the rape shield law? And is it not true that I am hoping that this does not further weaken the rape shield law?
Well, you might wish to talk to the author of the bill. I'm sure she'll be happy to clarify that for you. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 424. The ayes are 171, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 56.
House Bill 56 by Chairman Silcox, the 52nd, being entitled an act to amend Code Sections 3294 and 4238 of the Official Code of Georgia and Territory relating to the designation of travel lanes by the Department of Transportation and the use of such lanes and registration of vehicles. This bill having referred to the Committee on Motor Vehicles. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Silcox to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wasn't informed I was doing two bills at one time, so I apologize. I bring to y'all House Bill 56 this evening. Y'all may or may not know I drive a Nissan Leaf, and it's a totally electric vehicle. But in order to ride in the HOV lane, I have to purchase a separate tag that has a leaf on it for $200. It's really it's a fee. It's not an ad valorem tax to be able to ride in the HOV lane. House Bill 56 would allow distributors and manufacturers of new electric vehicles in this state to do the same thing. That is to buy a tag with the leaf on it for the $200 fee for their electric vehicles to ride in the HOV lane. I understand this would affect about 30 vehicles in the state and would appreciate your favorable consideration. Thank you. If there are no questions,
No
I'll yield the well.
questions.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to withdrawing the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is withdrawn. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? The chair hears none. The Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 56 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 56, the ayes are 151, the nays are 17. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 220.
House Bill 220 by Representative Rogers of the 10th to be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 2 of Chapter 8 of Title 12 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding solid waste management so as to extend the sunset date for certain solid waste disposal surcharges. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes the governor's floor leader, Representative Rogers, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you today House Bill 220, which is to people who have been here for a while, you've seen over and over again. This is the hazardous waste and solid waste bill. Normally we put a sunset on it, and that's exactly what we did on this. All this bill does is to take and to extend the sunset for 3 years, and then we'll look at it again. It makes a couple of other little changes. It kind of gives some accountability as far as the fees go. The fees will remain the same the first year, and then after that, based on possibility of a constitutional amendment, they may adjust to make certain that all the agencies receive the money that they need. It's a very important bill, and I appreciate your favorable consideration. Mr. Speaker, I'll answer any questions. If not, I'll yield the well.
You have no questions.
Thank you. I yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 220 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 220, the ayes are 164, the nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 379.
House Bill 379 by Representative Moore, the 95th, to be entitled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 3 of Chapter 8 of Title 48, the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to county special purpose local option sales tax. so as to revise the annual reporting requirements regarding projects and purposes. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Moore to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good evening, colleagues. House Bill 379 provides flexibility to local governments with respect to publishing their yearly SPLOS report in the local newspaper. Currently, local governments have to publish the report by December 31st, regardless of when their fiscal year ends. House Bill 379 would instead focus the reporting date based on the city's or county's fiscal year. This bill passed last session unanimously, but unfortunately our friends across the hallway failed to pass it. I humbly ask for your favorable support for this bill so we can finally get this through. Thank you so much. I yield the well. Or I yield for questions.
Chair recognizes Representative Dreyer to your left for a question.
Representative Moore, do you yield?
I do, sir.
Wouldn't it be easier just to let these counties and cities publish this stuff on Facebook?
Well, not every member of this chamber may be on Facebook, but we can certainly talk to the cities and counties about doing that. Would you prefer that, Representative Dreyer?
I think that would be much more convenient for all of us. But thank you for carrying this bill, Representative Moore.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Do you further yield?
I do.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson to your right for a question.
Does the lady yield?
I do, sir.
Is it not true that your bill traveled through the Ways and Means Committee?
It did, yes.
Did you not notice that's the hardest working committee in the House?
I've noticed it's one of the smallest committee rooms.
Does the gentlelady further yield?
Yes, I do.
Is it not true that you're apparently more comfortable in front of the whole House than you were in front of the Ways and Means Committee down in that hot little room? Is that not true?
Well, that was my birthday, so I very much enjoyed presenting to the committee on my birthday.
Thank you for your good work.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Richard Smith to your left for a question.
Does the lady yield?
I do, sir.
Isn't it true that Representative Williamson used to be on insurance?
The gentleman knows of which he speaks.
Do you further yield?
Against my better judgment, yes.
Chair recognizes Representative Prince to your left for a question.
Does the lady yield?
Yes.
Did the lady mention earlier that this bill did make it over to the Senate last year?
Yes, it did.
Further question.
Yes.
And where did you present that last year?
Unfortunately, I was not a member of this body last year.
Thank you for the bill.
Thank you. Speaker, I yield the well.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 379 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? What purpose does Representative Cannon rise? She waves. Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 164, 379, the ayes are 164, the nays are 4. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 527.
House Bill 527 by Representative Dickey, the 140th, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 22-161 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the quality basic education formula so as to change program weights for funding purposes. This bill I refer to the Committee on Education. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dickey to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I bring you HB 527. It simply updates the QBE program weights that are listed in code. Georgia code states that these variants for these program weights can be no more than 1.5%. And let me tell you, I know we had a big discussion about education funding earlier today, but let me tell you, that is the reason we're having to adjust these weights within the code. Over $2 billion has been added to our K-12 funding formula in the last few years. $1 billion to fill the austerity left by the recession, and another $1 billion in 2% pay raise in 2018. The 2,775 proposed pay raise for 2020, TRS increases, and other increases for education. So these ratios have gotten out of range, and so this bill has no effect on the budget and does not change policy or law. It just brings these ratios within allowable allowances that's mandated. So with that, I'd ask you a favorable consideration to get these back in line. And if it's no questions.
You have no questions?
I'll yield the well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 527 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 527, the ayes are 170, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 459.
House Bill 459 by Representative Earhart of the 36th and others to be entitled an act to amend Part 5 of Article 22 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to school buses so as to provide for a driver's license verification system for school bus drivers. This bill having referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Earhart to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of this body. I bring to your consideration this evening House Bill 459, the School Bus Driver's License Verification Bill. I bring this at the request and urging of our Public Safety Commissioner, Mark McDonough. Currently in Georgia, when city and county school districts hire a school bus driver, they do check the validity of the applicant's commercial driver's license at the time that they are hired to be sure that the license is in good standing. After that employee is hired, there is currently no requirement that the validity of that driver's license is ever checked again. No periodic check to determine that the school bus driver's license is expired or worse, been suspended, which could happen for any number of reasons, including repeated traffic violations or even a DUI conviction. House Bill 459 seeks to put in place a requirement that school bus drivers' licenses are periodically checked to determine that they are still valid. The school board would submit the names and driver's license numbers of its bus drivers to the Department of Public Safety. Those licenses would be electronically verified through the Department of Driver Services in conjunction with the Georgia Technology Authority. The school bus would then be notified if any of their school bus driver's licenses had expired or had been revoked or suspended. This would be done twice a year, in July, prior to the start of the school year, and again in December prior to the start of the second semester. In the event that a driver's license is found to be expired or suspended, the school board would then revoke the employee's authorization to operate a school bus. It would be up to the discretion of the school board to or not to reinstate that authorization. For example, let's say that a license was simply expired. The school bus driver went and got it reinstated. It would be up to the school board then to determine if they wish to reinstate that driver's privileges. I believe this is a good, solid bill. Certainly, once again, speaks to the importance of the safety of our children as they travel on school buses across our state. So I ask for your favorable consideration. Mr. Speaker, I will yield if there are any questions.
You have no questions. I'm sorry, you do have one question. Do you yield?
Yes.
Chair recognizes Representative Henson to your left for a question.
Will the lady yield?
Yes.
Thank you. I know that you have a great background in education prior to coming here, and it's still a passion of yours, and it's wonderful. My question is, who's going to be paying for this?
This would be, it's a dynamic that is already in place. In other words, this is in the budget for the school district. It is the same process and procedure that is used when those driver's licenses are checked for validity at the time that the drivers were hired. So it is currently in the budget, yes.
Because I was under the impression that this was going to be moved over to the state and that we would be doing it, not each county individually twice a year.
Right. I will certainly check on that to check that for sure, to be sure. My understanding that this dynamic is already in place and that really nothing is going to change from the method in which it is done at the point that these driver's licenses are hired. This would be a repeat process. These licenses would be kept on file, securely kept on file, and then run at the beginning of each semester to determine the validity. Make sure that our school children are safe. Thank you for your question, though.
Thank you.
And yes, Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 459, the ayes are 159, the nays are 11. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Chair recognizes the chairman of the House Rules Committee, Chairman Powell, for an announcement.
Rules Committee, 7:15, 341. See you there.
All right, listen up. Members have pizza in room 216. Staff have pizza in room 230. This house will be in recess for dinner until 7:30 p.m.